Hi guys, so this morning I am going to do a DIY vinyl sign project. Now this is kind of a semi-DIY project because I'm using a sign I got at the dollar store, which I'll show you below. And so you could see that this sign is already in the shape of a pumpkin. It's already pretty much decorated and it already says thankful right at the top. So all we need to do is basically fill it in with what we're thankful for. So I thought the best way to do this project would be with some vinyl. So again, this is a great project for some scraps that you have some white or whatever laying around, but even if you're not doing this exact project, this tutorial will show you just how to cut vinyl. So this is great for beginners, or if you're just kind of getting started with your Cricut machine, and this can be done with any machine that you have. So to get started, we are going to make a text box, which is just right over here. So if you're cutting vinyl, this is most likely where you're going to start, is either making a text box or inserting some kind of image. But for this, we're just doing a text box. So I am going to be using the skinny font, and let's see if we have any other fonts that are kind of skinny like this, just to see what our options are. Oh, this skinny things one might actually work a little bit better because it's a little bit bolder. So I believe this is a Cricut font, skinny things. So I'm just going to click that. And first I'm just going to write, so my sign says thankful. So all I need to write for my text is for. So, and I'm actually going to do two text boxes because I think the for will be a little bit smaller than the other word I'm going to write. So we have our for, and then we're going to make another text box, and it's going to say family. So thankful for family. So now what I want to do is I want to make this family text bigger than this for text. So I'm going to unlock this, and what unlocking the text does is now you can really manipulate it like however you want. Whereas if it's locked, you can only manipulate it this way. So I usually always unlock the text boxes because I feel like it just makes it a little bit easier. So our sign is we have about 8 inches or so to play with. So I'm going to come up here, and I think if I do about 7 by a little more than 2.5, that should be perfect. And the 4, I think I'll make, because the thankful is a little bit smaller, so I don't want this to look like too big. So I think that's perfect. And then the thankful will be like right here. So I think that'll look super cute. So now all I need to do is, this is basically it, and I'm not going to weld these together because since it's not a whole lot of text and I don't need to get them in like this exact formation, I guess. I'm not going to group them or have them be cut out in this exact formation because that will just waste a ton of vinyl. So I'm just going to let my design space figure out how it wants to cut these out. So I'm going to come over here to make it. So you can see this is going to save us the most vinyl. So we only need about 9 inches, 9 by 3. That's all the vinyl that we need. So I'm going to click continue, and it'll find our machine. And I'm doing this with my maker, but you could definitely do it with any other cutting machine that you have. This is just what I have handy right now. And we are going to cut this on the regular vinyl setting. So our machine is ready to go, so I'll switch you guys over to the camera so you can see how we're gonna cut this. Alright, so this is the sign we are gonna use, and this is again what I got from the dollar store. So I thought it would be cute since it already says thankful here, and we can just kind of like fill in the blank with family. So this is kind of like a semi DIY project where they have a lot of this stuff already kind of ready to go at the dollar store, and you can just customize it however you want. So you could put, you know, last name here, you could do whatever you want. So, and for this, I'm just gonna be using a scrap of white vinyl that I have. So you guys already know, I encourage you to save your scraps. And I'm gonna be cutting this with my light grip blue mat. Just looking for my scraper. So we can get this on here. And even though it has this little bump in it, we can just smooth that out so it looks good as new. So ready to go. So we can put it into our machine. And once this Cricut light starts blinking, that means we can start to cut. So we'll hit that and we will cut. Alright, so we can unload our mat. And we're done with that, so we can put it away. So I'm just going to take this off of our mat, and then we could start to weed it. Alright, so I'm just going to trim this so we can save this little scrap of white vinyl here. Alright, so now to weed this, so all we need to do is get rid of these vinyl that we don't need that's around the cut letter. So this is the weeding tool that I'm using. I got this from Specialty Materials. They sent this to me, which was perfect because I had lost mine. So this is great. And so you could see this is a very aggressive looking weeding tool. So I'm anxious to see how it weeds compared to the Cricut one. I think I'm gonna need to like get used to it a little bit. So I'm just gonna pull up this end that we don't need and just kind of pull away the vinyl that we're not gonna be needing to use. So relatively easy. This is probably gonna be the quickest tutorial because vinyl is so easy to work with. And now you'll see I'm just going to go in and get rid of the middles of these letters. I love working with vinyl. It's so simple. It's good for beginners, for people that have been doing it for a long time. It's just awesome. So now that we have this, I'm just going to separate this little 4 so you can see how now we will apply this to the sign. Okay, so now to apply this to our sign, I'm going to be using this transfer masking tape that Auntie Tay sent me. I've probably used this in quite a few videos so far. I'll link it below. It's one of my favorite transfer tapes to use. But I am aware that you can get it on Amazon, you can get it other places, but if you get it from Auntie Tay, you can use my code and get 10% off, but no pressure, do whatever you want to do. So I'm just trimming this a little bit so I can see how this will all look. Okay, and so I'm now realizing that this 4 is much too big, so hang tight. I'm gonna make a little smaller version of this and we'll just be right back. So we have our 4 now, so this should all fit nicely. Okay, so back to the transfer tape. This is the transfer tape I'm going to use from Auntie Tay. I'll link it below. It's basically like a masking tape that somehow is just like the best transfer tape ever. It's like magic. So you're just going to stick it onto your vinyl, and I kind of like to do like a reverse peel, like I'll peel away the carrier sheet instead of like peeling the transfer tape away. I just feel like it works a little bit better. I'm just gonna trim that a little bit. So I'm going to put this right kind of in the center and give enough room for the family part of it. So I like to trim the transfer tape as close, kind of as much as I can, so then I can like see really where it's going to be in reference to like this text up here and this text down here. So all right, so that looks good. So I'm just going to smooth this down, and then we're just going to peel away our transfer tape. So perfect. All right, so now we're going to do the family part of this. Oops. So I'm just going to kind of tear off a piece. All right, so now I'm just gonna stick this to the vinyl like I did with the smaller piece and just really scrape this down so it sticks really well. So now, just like we did with the other one, we're just gonna peel the carrier sheet away, and you can see that the vinyl stays attached to the transfer tape. And again, I'm just gonna trim this so I can see kind of like where it's gonna go. All right, so now we're just gonna try and center this as best as we possibly can. All right, and so I'm just gonna kind of stick it in the middle first and then work my way out. And this is Oracle 651 vinyl, so it's permanent, so this will stay. So you don't need to seal this if you're using it for like inside use. I really don't seal like anything. And if you like just let this cure for about 24 hours to the sign, it will last. So now we're just gonna peel away our transfer tape. You can see our sign is finished. All right, so there you have our super cute, easy dollar store sign. This took basically no time at all, except for that little, detour. I had to make this a little bit smaller, but other than that, this took basically no time at all. I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you did, make sure you give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. And as always, happy crafting and happy holidays.